You are watching No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and these are my views and opinions. Welcome to No Filter with Debbie. I'm Debbie Schlussel, and you know what's driving me crazy? The continued assault on businesses and restaurants in America by politicians and others who don't abide by the rules they set for us. They are killing businesses, killing jobs, and yes, they are taking lives. We know that depression has gone way up. We know that drug use has gone way up. We know that suicide has gone way up. And I would be surprised if those numbers did not involve restaurant and bar owners and other small business owners. But the hardest hit are the owners of bars and restaurants, because in some states they're not allowed to operate except for takeout. In other states they're only allowed to operate with outdoor dining, meaning they have to, if they're in cold environments, and let's face it, even places like California are very cold at night, they have to shell out thousands of dollars for igloos and huts and other sorts of these fancy little environments to keep people warm. Oh, and heaters too, by the way. And they have to make sure that those heaters are safe for inside those igloos and those huts. It's a tremendous undertaking. It's very, very costly. And if they're lucky, they'll still get some customers, because all of those customers have been scared away. And even the restaurants that are allowed to operate, like those in North Dakota, at 50% capacity, having social distancing and not being allowed to have more than 150 customers in their places of business at one time, if they're lucky to get that many, they are having a very tough time. So, in the midst of all of that, Joe Biden has announced that once he is president, he is going to have a 100-day mask mandate for the entire country. We're all going to have to wear masks outdoors and inside in public places. He also said that some private places he would require masks to be worn at those locations. He hasn't been more specific, but he warned us. We heard during the election, he said he wanted to have a lockdown. As I told you on this show many times, his top COVID advisor said that he wanted a 4 to 6 week lockdown. And I showed you the statistics, the polls that showed that a moronic 64% of Americans said that they would support that. Are they insane? Are they nuts? Yes and yes. So Joe Biden said that he's going to do this. And then there are people who wish that Joe Biden were president already, including the press. So here's what they did to Kayleigh McEnany the other day, and I thought she had a very great response. Check this out.
I wonder, does the White House, is it setting a good example for the public, for the White House to be holding in-person holiday parties at a time when the CDC and other organizations are asking Americans to forego those kinds of celebrations for their own safety?
Yeah, so, if you can loot businesses, burn down buildings, engage in protest, you can also go to a Christmas party. You can celebrate the holiday of Christmas, and you can do it responsibly, which is why the East Wing has noted that they'll have smaller guest lists, masks are going to be available, social distancing is going to be encouraged, hand sanitizing stations, among other measures. But we will engage in the celebration of Christmas, and there will be a Hanukkah celebration as well.
Right on. This woman is right on the money, and I will miss her. I'm telling you. Joe Biden's press secretary, Kate Bedingfield, Jeb Psaki, sorry, Kate Bedingfield was his campaign manager. She's going to be doing something else. She's on his communications team. But Jen Psaki, she is not going to be a Kayleigh McEnany, not even close. And she doesn't have to be, because the press will kowtow to whatever she does. In fact, Joe Biden can have holiday parties and they won't care. This is about Trump. This is about doing every single bit of piling on they can before the end. And even aside from the piling on, there's just the rules that are on the bottom layer against restaurants. And we will talk about what's going on in North Dakota to some of the businesses in a couple of minutes. But first, I want you to check out this video. This video was sent out by a Food Network, Food Channel chef and judge, Andrew Gruel, and this is what happened at a New York area restaurant. Check this out.
All right, I'm out here in front of Max Public House, 130 Lincoln Avenue, being raided by the sheriff's department, okay? This tiny little place trying to make a living, okay? 350 people on an airplane, thousands of planes, okay? This close to each other. Costco's open, Home Depot, people lined up, backed up with each other. This guy can't open his business. It's shame on you people. Shame on everybody for letting this happen. There should be 1,000 people out here right now when they get raided by the goddamn Gestapo. Tomorrow is Wednesday at 6 o'clock p.m. I want this street shut down with 10,000 people. Because if we don't show up and show face, we're going to lose this whole battle. Disgusting. Should all be disgusted with yourselves. If they fear you, they won't with you. You understand what I'm saying? Get the out here tomorrow night, Wednesday. Tomorrow night, 6 o'clock in front of Max Public House. This is disgusting.
He's absolutely right. And today there is actually a protest going on about that restaurant. But here's the other thing that is the problem. The protests have not been as large as these Black Lives Matter protests. They just haven't. But even when they are large, they don't get the media coverage because the liberal media doesn't want this to get publicity, that people are angry. But you know, all summer long and into the fall, I said to you on this show, when are Americans going to rise up? They looted businesses, they destroyed jobs and people's livelihoods, they shot at people, they murdered police officers, they just destroyed 6 blocks of property and took it over. They destroyed a police precinct in Portland. This is the kind of stuff that went on all over the country. And did Americans rise up and say, we're not going to take this anymore? No, they didn't do anything. Whatever happened to the Boston Tea Party? That is how this country began. We have those kinds of traditions and we've forsaken them. Instead, we've just said, bend over, give us another. We'll bend over, give us another. We can't do that if we want to survive as a nation. So that's in New York. Look at what's happening in Michigan. This is a Michigan restaurant owner.
The details on why the judge said no.
Here on this cafe.
Tavarius, is everything okay?
Okay. My government leaders have abandoned me.
Are you the owner?
$4 trillion of stimulus money. They gave it to who? Special interest groups and campaign donors. I'm Dave Morris. I own the place.
So what's going on?
What's going on? You know what's going on.
Tell me. You tell me.
Hey, we got a government that has taken the stimulus money. They gave it to special campaign donors. They gave it to special interests. They abandoned me, and they have put me in a position where I have to fight back. Okay?
So do you feel that this is the right thing to do?
Absolutely. I feel everybody needs to stand up. Hey, listen, there was enough money to give every family in this country $20,000 to go home for 2 months. They chose to give it to special interests and campaign donors, the Kennedy Space Center, and they abandoned us. So you could have given me money. I'd gladly walk away for 60 days and let this virus settle down. I'm not going to do it alone. Okay?
Are you going to continue to violate the state's orders and stay open?
This is a state order. This isn't an order. This is a conspiracy. This is a tyranny.
What do you want to tell other restaurant owners who...
Wake up. Stand up. This is America. Be free. I got patriots coming out supporting me.
All right, so he's absolutely right. The only thing he got wrong was he said the Kennedy Space Center. What happened was Nancy Pelosi and her liberal rich friends in Congress, they go to the Kennedy Center to hear concerts and performances, and they put in a lot of pork in the last COVID, in the CARES Act. They put a lot of pork in that for the Kennedy Center, which had nothing to do with small business owners like that. And I want you to know, so he is open. He has defied the orders of the Michigan dictator governor Gretchen Whitmer, and people have traveled from as far away as Indiana to come eat at his restaurant. And he's absolutely right. Another thing he said was that people are shopping down the street at Walmart, at big box stores. They're close together. And we know, we said this the other day, that the El Paso mayor said that that's where the cases in El Paso are coming from, big box stores. They're not coming from restaurants. They're not coming from bars. They're coming from these big box stores, and it's unfair to these restaurant owners. This is a death sentence for them. And when we come back, I'll tell you about what some of the restaurant and bar owners are doing in North Dakota. I want to show you a video from Congressman Tom McClintock. But first, No Filter movie reviews. It's Friday. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Howdy, folks. It's a Caroline Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our hay-bossing breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar. Sink your teeth into our famous Caroline burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spoon-rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. Commercial-grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef and all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran-owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Beck Communications is honored to be recently recognized with 3 Broadband Now awards. Beck Communications Cooperative was awarded in the categories of Top Internet Speeds Nationwide, Top 3 Fastest Internet Providers in North Dakota, and North Dakota's #1 fastest fiber provider. It's only through the support of our members and customers that Beck Fiber delivers award-winning speeds and service. Thank you, Beck Communications Cooperative members and customers, for your years of continued support.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at accordsleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Is your business phone system outdated and expensive to maintain? Most large VoIP companies leave you on hold or struggling through online support and training for your employees. With Beck Connect, you always have fast, friendly, local support. Familiar faces with the know-how to keep you connected. Take advantage of the newest technology in voice calling, video conferencing, and virtual meeting rooms. Beck Connect gives you all the features you need with no upfront investment and no obsolete hardware or software ever again. Simplify your communications. Choose local. Choose Beck Connect.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So it's Friday, and you know what happens on Friday? Friday, the new movies come out, or in many cases, they stream. But since North Dakota movie theaters are open, you can go out to the theaters and see them, and I recommend that you do that. It's good to support theaters. I don't like Hollywood. I don't want to support them, but I do want to see theaters open. Those are good business people usually that own them. Sometimes they're small movie theaters and not, they're small businesses, and we want to support them. So today is Friday. I've seen the movies ahead of time so that you don't have to. I perform this service. I'm a movie critic. My movie reviews appear on various media outlets and platforms. I've been doing this since basically 2004. So I've seen a lot of movies, most of the main feature films that come out, a lot of art house movies as well. So what is coming out today? Well, I have 2 new movies to review for you and 2 oldies but semi-goodies that I have to recommend. So the first new movie is called All My Life. And this is a bit of a downer, and it's kind of a chick flick, but I thought it was tolerable. I thought it was charming. I thought it was somewhat touching. I don't know if I would pay $10 for it, but my reviews have basically taken into account that this is COVID time, and Hollywood is not releasing a lot of new movies because so many theaters are closed, especially in major markets like LA and New York. And so what they're releasing, most of it's really bad. This actually was not bad. It was semi-decent. So the story is this young couple, as you can see in the footage, meets, and they move in together. They're going to get married, and suddenly the guy finds out that he has cancer. So it's a very bittersweet movie. Like I said, it's a little bit of a downer. And you know what? This is a dark enough time and a dark enough year. I don't know that I want to see dark stuff, but this actually wasn't as dark as I expected, and it ended on a sort of up note. Like I said, it was not bad. It was semi-decent. I give it on my scale of ratings 1.5 Reagans. So on my rating scale, Reagans are good, Marx's are bad. I have a whole bunch of other icons that I use. This one gets 1.5 Reagans. All right, the next new movie is called Half Brothers. All right, Half Brothers, also semi-decent. It was much better than I expected. The story is there's a kid in Mexico. His father leaves to go earn money in the United States. By the way, his father's an illegal alien, and I just don't like when Hollywood pushes this illegal alien stuff on us, because his father is a very sympathetic guy. He works hard. He's taken advantage of and treated horribly by ICE and Customs and Border Protection, the Border Patrol. I didn't like that, all right? We've seen enough of that on the news. They defend our borders. I'm for secure borders. But that said, I can't put my politics too much in my movie reviews, although I think it's a bad crutch for a movie to use politics, and I don't want it in my face. When I go to see the movies, I want to escape the everyday realities of news and opinion and so on. I want to just relax and enjoy. So this movie was somewhat relaxing and enjoyable. It was interesting. The Mexican boy, his father leaves, and then he grows up, this boy, and he finds out that his father is in New York, has another family, has a son, and his father, who promised he'd come back and never did come back, abandoned him, is dying of cancer. He hates his father, but he, at his fiance's demand, not request, he goes to New York to see his father. He gets angry. He meets this kid that he finds annoying. He finds out that's his half-brother. His father dies, and his father gives the 2 boys, to the 2 sons who are now grown adults, hints and clues about what happened to him and why he never came back to Mexico and what happened in his life. Apparently, neither of these boys or sons were close with their father, and they learned that he actually wasn't such a bad guy and he actually loved them. Now, again, the whole illegal alien thing, and also, I don't glorify a guy that abandons his family and then has another son with someone else. They try to explain that away, and it's somewhat explained, but I wasn't buying. I still like the movie. I like the interaction between the guy and his half-witted, dim-witted younger brother, half-brother. So I give it 1.5 Reagans, Half Brothers. Now, since there are so few new movies, and the ones that were already in theaters before had a much bigger choice and vastly better movies, I'm going to recommend a couple movies I saw before COVID struck earlier in the year and late last year. One of them is called The Invisible Man. Now, it's billed as sort of a remake or a reboot of the original Invisible Man movie, and then there have been many remakes of those over the years. There was one with Kevin Bacon, and there have been several others. I like this one because it's really not about the Invisible Man. It's about his wife or girlfriend. They never really tell you what she is, played by Elizabeth Moss, who escapes from him, and he tracks her down, and he's invisible. Now, I did not like the girl power, feminist angle on this, that men are evil and beat their wives / girlfriends, whatever. That's a really, really minor part of the movie. Overall, I thought it was a very thrilling, suspenseful movie. I wasn't bored for a second. It doesn't move slowly. It's a very heart-pounding movie. You don't see what's coming next. I like that. I see a lot of movies, and I tend to be able to figure out what is next. This won't like that, and it was very scary. I see a lot of scary movies. I'm never scared. I was from this. This is a 3 Reagan movie. And finally, there is Obit. So, Obit is a documentary about the New York Times obituary page. Now, here's why I liked it. The New York Times is very liberal. It's left-wing. They lie about a lot. But this movie was very interesting. It shows how and why they pick the obituaries they do, how they write them the way they are, the kind of research that's done. And it really does show the kind of agenda they have. Even though I don't think they set out to do that, it shows it. And I just thought it was a fascinating movie. It was interesting. It's a quick movie. It's shorter than an hour and a half, as I recall. 3 Reagans for that movie also, as well as The Invisible Man. Now, I know we're almost at the break, but I just wanted to finish up some movie news, some politically correct movie news. Letitia Wright, who is in the Black Panther movies, she plays the sister to King T'Challa, who is played by the late Chadwick Boseman. People all over the place are attacking her. They want her recast. Why? Because she tweeted out a video from a Christian preacher that questioned vaccines and said, I don't understand vaccines medically, but I've always been a little bit of a skeptic of them. There's nothing wrong with being a skeptic. This is a reason a person should be kicked out of Hollywood and recast? Are you serious? And so she had to, of course, do the proverbial apology, and it's never enough for these crazy far-left liberals. And then finally, there's Viggo Mortensen. So Viggo Mortensen, very good actor, very liberal, by the way, far-left liberal, and yet he's having to apologize. Why? Because he wrote a screenplay. Usually when you write your own screenplay, you write your movie, you get somebody to fund it, you get to cast the characters. You get to play yourself if you want. You get to play the star if you want. So he plays the star of a movie. Well, the problem is he's straight and the character is gay. And nowadays, you can't play what you aren't. But why? It's called acting. You're supposed to play something you aren't. I mean, do I get mad that a lot of Jewish characters on TV and in movies are played by non-Jews? Of course not. I don't care about that. I care about, are you a good actor or actress? Is the movie interesting? Is it engrossing? Is it entertaining? So he's under attack, and so now he's had to say, well, maybe I'm not completely straight. Are you serious? You now have to pretend to be gay? So now he's been asked if the person he cast as his love interest, if that person is gay. And he said, I don't know. I would never ask somebody what their sexuality is. This is getting ridiculous. All right, when we come back, we'll go back to the restaurants and bars of North Dakota and what they're doing to survive in this horrible situation with these restrictions. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Who do you trust with your digital life? Not all cloud backup providers keep your data truly private. Beck Cloud Backup uses advanced multi-layer encryption to keep your family photos, videos, and sensitive business documents secure and only for your eyes. Your Beck Lightband Internet service already includes 50 gigs of free storage to keep your digital life safe and secure. Call us at 701-475-2361 to start using your Beck Cloud Backup today.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck, featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Is your business phone system outdated and expensive to maintain? Most large VoIP companies leave you on hold or struggling through online support and training for your employees. With Beck Connect, you always have fast, friendly, local support. Familiar faces with the know-how to keep you connected. Take advantage of the newest technology in voice calling, video conferencing, and virtual meeting rooms. Beck Connect gives you all the features you need with no upfront investment and no obsolete hardware or software ever again. Simplify your communications. Choose local. Choose Beck Connect.
As the mayor of Bismarck, I invite you to join together to get our kids back to school, preserve our local economy, and keep Bismarck safe, strong, and resilient. A community task force has been launched to slow the spread of COVID-19 in our community. We're all in this together. Protect yourself and others by doing your part. Wear a mask when you're out and about, and slow the spread of COVID-19. For more information, visit health.nd.gov/coronavirus.
Everybody needs an off-season, but our announcers have a tough time slowing down.
Incredible! For the second time today, Brent has jammed the printer.
Really tough time.
He swiftly brings it down the lane, and he carries it down the stairway. And he finishes with a slam.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So at the beginning of this show, we talked about how a lot of the restrictions on restaurants and bars in many places in the country have been a death sentence or will be. These businesses are on life support. And even in North Dakota, where the restaurants aren't locked down, they are basically locked down. Why? Because they're being told that they have to have only 50% capacity, they have to have social distancing of at least 6 feet, they can't have over 150 patrons at one time, if they're lucky to get that many, and if they have the capacity to fit that many with all of these restrictions, which most do not. So the old malt shop in Garrison is really suffering. The assistant manager, Ginger Shearer, said that we can't even seat past 5 or 6 people in our store right now at one time. And that's because of all of these restrictions. You are not going to survive by having 5 or 6 customers. You just aren't. It's going to be really, really tough. Now, some of the restaurants lately have been featured on the Food Show Network, Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives. In fact, a couple of Fridays over the last month or so have featured North Dakota restaurants, primarily in Fargo. So Casey Absey, the owner and manager at Blackbird, said that takeout sales have been very strong because of a spike after being on that show. But guess what? Most North Dakota businesses are not on that show. A handful were on that show. You're not going to survive if you need to be on a national food TV show to survive. You just aren't. So a lot of different cities in North Dakota are looking at ways to help these businesses survive. And I just don't think it's enough. So Fargo commissioners are looking into all kinds of things. They're considering waiving next year's liquor license fees. They're considering adjusting utility bills. They're considering property tax reductions. But listen, at least 30 Fargo businesses have closed so far, and that includes 7 hotels and 19 restaurants and breweries that have not renewed their licenses. Why? Not because they can't afford the license fee. It's because they can't afford to stick around. They're closed for good. Mandan City Commission is trying to do the same thing. they are considering allowing restaurants with, or something similar. They're considering allowing restaurants with a Class E or Class F food and beverage license to sell sealed containers of alcoholic beverages to customers through takeout, curbside delivery, drive-through. But you know what? That is not going to help a restaurant survive. Yes, if you're going there to get food anyway, you might order some liquor, some alcohol. You might order some. But most people, if they're just looking for alcohol, they're going to go to the shop where they go to buy alcohol, or they're going to go to a Walmart, or any one of the big box stores, or their supermarket. They're going to go to the corner store. They're not going to go to a restaurant. That is not going to save them. It's not enough. You know who else is looking at doing that? Minot. So Minot also was going to allow supper club license holders to sell beer and wine, and they would pay half their alcohol license fee up front. That's not going to help. Again, it's just not enough. I understand they're trying to do something. I understand they cannot overrule the governor. But the governor has got to give. These restaurants are dying on the vine. These bars are dying on the vine. It's got to stop. Now, before we go to the break, which is coming soon, I want you to see this video. This is from, and we will talk about this after the break, this is from my favorite congressman. He's from California, Tom McClintock, and I think you will agree with everything he's saying.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Governor Newsom made a groundbreaking discovery regarding COVID-19 last week. Apparently, it has learned to tell time. Thus, acting under the strictest of scientific standards, he's ordered Californians to run home before 10 p.m., lock their doors, and hide from this insidious virus until daybreak. Unfortunately, COVID doesn't seem to be following the curfew, so Newsom is now threatening yet another hard lockdown of virtually the entire state throughout the Christmas season. Don we now our plague apparel. There's just one nagging question the governor hasn't bothered to answer. If these lockdowns are so successful, why do we need to keep having them? Now, we're told not to worry. We're cheerfully assured that the jobs that are being destroyed are non-essential. That's their term, non-essential. Well, I have news for these self-absorbed elitists. If a job is putting food on your table and a roof over your head, that job is essential for you and the family that depends upon you. Last spring, I asked Anthony Fauci if he'd taken into account the human cost of these lockdowns, the suicides, the drug and alcohol abuse, the domestic violence, the deferred health screenings and treatments, and the poverty-related deaths that his policies were setting into motion. No, we really haven't considered that, he breezily replied. Don't know, don't care. But before Fauci and his followers took a wrecking ball to our nation, poverty had dropped to its lowest rate since 1959. Unemployment was the lowest in 50 years. The income gap was narrowing. Wages showed their strongest growth in 40 years. How many millions of these jobs have now been wantonly destroyed by autocratic officials who seem oblivious to the damage that they are causing? Now, according to the CDC's best estimate, those under 50 have a 99.98% chance of recovering from COVID if they get it at all. 99.98%. And 40% who get it don't even know they have it. Even for the most vulnerable group, over 70, the survival rate is 94.6%. Now, Sweden did not force its businesses to close. Sweden didn't shut down its schools and abandon its children to the streets. Sweden didn't even adopt a mask mandate. Sweden did what free societies do. They gave the best advice they could, and they trusted their citizens to use their own good judgment of what measures made sense to them. The result? Well, as of this morning, Sweden's mortality rate from COVID is 154 deaths per million below that of the United States. If we had Sweden's rate, that would mean over 50,000 fewer American deaths from COVID. Meanwhile, Sweden has sustained a fraction of the economic damage that our lockdown leftists have inflicted on innocent Americans. Globally, the United Nations warns that 130 million people will starve to death around the world because of the economic damage caused by these measures. Mr. Speaker, this has to stop.
Amen, amen, amen. All right, when we come back, I'll tell you what Congress is doing instead of helping America, and some other North Dakota and congressional and national news after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Bismarck Central, 4800.
4800, go ahead.
Requesting social services on-call team.
Stand by. 4800 social services requesting additional information.
You can advise social services that we have an 18-month-old female who was in a residence with a mother, now being transported to medical care for overdose.
Trusting your digital life to faceless tech giants can be risky. Will they keep your family and business information truly safe from prying eyes? If you subscribe to local Beck Lightband Internet service, you already have Beck Cloud Backup. Beck Cloud Backup is the safest, most private cloud storage for all your family memories, schoolwork, and business documents. Call 701-475-2361 to start using your free space on Beck Cloud Backup today.
You just might find the home of your dreams this weekend by watching the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes Sundays at 6 p.m. and Wednesdays at 7 on Beck, featuring properties from Bismarck, Mandan, Minot, and surrounding areas. The Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes presents desirable properties that are for sale, lets you meet your Alliance realtors, and provides critical insights into local happenings from community and business leaders. Join us this Sunday evening at 6 or Wednesday at 7 for the Alliance Real Estate Tour of Homes on Beck.
Today's households have more digital devices than ever before. More links to family, business, education, and entertainment. Beck Communications spent over 10 years building North Dakota's fastest fiber optic internet service. Beck Lightband Internet, outpacing speeds in large cities nationwide. Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
Howdy folks, it's the Line Cafe. I reckon it's time you're due for a hearty meal. So saddle up for the day with one of our Hey Bossin' breakfast homemade soups. Fill your grill at a salad bar, sink your teeth into our famous Line burger and barbecue ribs. Top it off with spur rattling pie with a calm roll that's sure to put a smile on even the toughest outlaws. Shake the dirt off the boots each night and warm up with the gang. Tell them about it, Stacy.
I can't wait to see you at the county line.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So, a theme of this show today and in past days and past weeks has been that Americans are suffering. And part of the reason they're suffering is not because of COVID, but because of the way that politicians and pop culture forces have reacted to COVID, and in fact restricted our rights and chastised people who want to exercise their freedoms. We talked about the restaurants and bars, we've talked about the actresses, not just the one we talked about today, who, when questioning vaccines, it's now her career might be over and her apology isn't enough. But what is Congress doing to save America from all of this? What are they doing to help Americans who are suffering because their businesses have been forcibly shut down, or they've been limited to certain capacity percentages, or they've been ordered to make their customers wear masks and so on? What has Congress done? Well, I'll tell you what. Today, they're voting on a bill to nationalize pot legalization. Yeah, that's going to help America right now. That's going to help these restaurants that we talked about. That's going to help these bars. Nope, it won't. But today, Congress voted, and I shouldn't even say Congress, just the House, because of course that's the part of Congress that is controlled by liberal Democrats and Nancy Pelosi. They voted on the Controlled Substances Act. Now, it is also known as the MORE Act, or the Marijuana Opportunity Reinvestment and Expungement Act. There are some good things about this act. I do believe that just because you smoked pot once in your life and you were caught with an amount that maybe was larger than was legal, it doesn't mean you're a drug dealer. It means you made a mistake, possibly, and your whole life shouldn't be ruined from that. So there should be expungements. By the way, this is only for federal cases. Congress can't expunge cases on the state level. That's something that North Dakota would have to do. And as we saw, the Governor Burgum, did pardon 24 people, I think it was last week, for pot convictions. I do think there's something wrong with that, but should we have a national law legalizing pot? I don't think so. They say that there is no evidence that pot is addictive. I think there is plenty. We have legalization of pot in my native state of Michigan. It's a disaster. We've seen a huge increase in drugged driving, in kids eating pot edibles and brownies, all kinds of accidents and crimes going on. It does not eliminate the black market. Just makes big government bigger and gives it another thing to tax and control. Doesn't do anything really for anybody. You hear about all the revenue. Guess what? States that get more tax revenue from pot and other drugs, they spend more money. So in the end, you're still screwed with a huge tax bill. Your taxes are not going to go down. And I know that North Dakota is under a lot of pressure now to legalize pot, now that our neighbors in Montana and South Dakota have legalized it, and I would say don't make that mistake. Now, Mitch McConnell has said that this bill will never pass the Senate. It won't even get on the Senate floor. He said he will never forward this bill. So good for him. I'm glad he's sticking to his guns. This is not good for America. I have no problem, again, with the pardons or with the expungements of minor pot crimes, minor possession, but legalizing it nationwide, don't do it, America. Don't do it. Now, Nancy Pelosi could have passed COVID relief. She could have done that. She didn't. She held it up because she did not want Donald Trump to win. And today she's admitted as much to Politico, that's a left-wing news outlet, former Washington Post reporters mostly. She admitted to Jake Sherman of the Politico that she held out because of the elections. Look at this tweet. So that's him reporting on what she told him. Pelosi has held out for a big deal for 6 or so months. She said this morning that now that Biden is president, she's willing to do a smaller deal. So now that Biden is president. So basically she's admitted to this reporter that I made Americans suffer in poverty, Americans whose businesses have been taken away, whose jobs have died because of this, their jobs have been murdered, basically. She's a serial killer of jobs. She held out on giving people relief. She and all the liberals who made these restrictions and who starved people from relief. The Republicans wanted a relief bill, but Mitch McConnell would not pass one with her largesse in it. She wanted to give money to everyone, to everything that had nothing to do with people suffering from COVID. But now she says, now that Joe Biden's president, she's going to do it. Class act, Nancy Pelosi. Make Americans suffer for politics and a presidential race. Now, Anthony Fauci, he's back in the news. Why? Well, Anthony Fauci has to apologize. Again, you always have to apologize because he said something politically incorrect. He said that the United Kingdom rushed the virus vaccine. So he's had to apologize. Now, another story that I think is very, very important, and it has nothing to do with COVID. It's actually about our national security. Remember that? Remember secure borders? So this is an issue I've covered in various media platforms since before 9/11, but it heightened in importance after 9/11, and that is birthright tourism. We have this stupid law, no other country in the world has it, that if you are born here, you get to be a citizen. So your parents get to be illegal aliens, come here illegally, and if they stay long enough to have a kid, an anchor baby, that baby gets citizenship, and then those kids can get all kinds of benefits, and you can get benefits on their behalf, including aid to children with aid to parents with dependent children, AFDC, welfare. It is very costly to Americans. Well, guess what? The other day in Turkey, or in New York, they found 119 babies born on Long Island involving a Turkish, these are Muslims. Turkey is a Muslim country, and a lot of these people involved in birthright tourism are Muslims. And I've written about this. This has been going on in Chicago, in Detroit. Thousands, tens of thousands of babies are born here by Muslims that come here from all over the world. They're pregnant, they have their kids here, then their kids get U.S. citizenship. And not only that, but the only thing on their birth certificates are heel prints from their feet. Those are not fingerprints, they're not reliable. We cannot identify who these babies are when they grow up. And guess what? They can sell the citizenship papers on the open market in Europe. They can vote in our elections. As I said, welfare checks get sent all over the Middle East to parents of these children. So 6 people involved in this birth tourism scheme, 119 children born in the U.S., Turkish nationals, and now they're U.S. citizens. And they're all Muslims. And you have to decide, do we want America's character changed? I say no. We should get rid of this birthright tourism. Get rid of it now. This is a national security ticking time bomb. You know, did you know that right after 9/11, they did a census of Ramallah, which is one of the capital cities, if not the capital city of the Palestinian Authority? They found that 40,000 out of 1 million residents there had U.S. citizenship papers. A lot of them from this scheme. All right, when we come back, I want to talk about a Trump aide that's being banned from looking into voter fraud, and we'll talk some North Dakota stories. That and more after these messages on No Filter with Debbie on Beck.
Beck Lightband Internet is the fastest internet service in North Dakota, outpacing speeds in the largest cities nationwide. Beck Communications planned and built Lightband Internet to bring you a superior, more valuable customer experience. We connect you to family, business, education, and entertainment without restrictions or speed limits. Beck Lightband Internet handles all your digital needs without throttling your connection to the world. Beck Communications, valuable digital connections in rural North Dakota.
He once won a spelling bee in an ancient language that he did not speak. He is the only man to ever earn extra credit on an IQ exam. His academic degrees are considered legitimate spending currency in 22 nations, 2 principalities, and at Chick-fil-A restaurants in the United States and Western Canada.
I do not always engage with education programming, but when I do, it is the Dr. Duke Show.
Stay educated with the Dr. Duke Show, weekdays at 4 p.m. on Beck News.
Introducing Accord Comfort Sleep Systems, a better way to sleep. We offer you 5 different models to give you the perfect choice of support and body comfort. Every model begins with our exclusive Accord Comfort Reflex Layer. This ensures proper spinal alignment and a deep down body relief. Our 8-inch Whisper Breeze provides a medium firm feel, and our 10-inch Gentle Night model has a quilted top, giving you a medium plush comfort. Both use Outlast fabric on the top of your mattress, ensuring that your body temperature is not too hot and not too cold. Our Copper Rest Sleep Series is our premier mattress, offering your choice of firm, plush, and luxury plush. Every model uses copper-infused gel latex and provides all the health benefits of copper. Accord Comfort mattresses are handcrafted in the USA and come with a 60-night sleep guarantee. You're going to love sleeping with us. Order today exclusively at accordsleep.com or Tom's Home Furnishings in beautiful downtown Harvey.
Capital City Restaurant Supply is your one-stop shop for quality restaurant products for the large to small kitchens. commercial grade restaurant and bar supplies, limb game processing equipment, refrigeration, dinnerware, and smallware. We sell everything including the kitchen sink from trusted manufacturers for the chef in all of us. Open to the public since 1971, we are veteran owned and North Dakota proud. Let us take care of your restaurant and home kitchen needs today by visiting us at 1414 Interstate Loop in Bismarck or on the web at capitalcityrestaurantsupply.com.
Trusting your digital life to faceless tech giants can be risky. Will they keep your family and business information truly safe from prying eyes? If you subscribe to local Beck Lightband internet service, you already have Beck Cloud Backup. Beck Cloud Backup is the safest, most private cloud storage for all your family memories, schoolwork, and business documents. Call 701-475-2361 to start using your free space on Beck Cloud Backup today.
Welcome back to No Filter with Debbie on Beck. So something very interesting has happened within the Trump administration. There is a woman by the name of Heidi Stirrup. Heidi Stirrup was appointed months ago by President Trump to be his liaison to the Justice Department. Well, guess what? Within the last 2 weeks, she's been kicked out of the Justice Department building. Now, you might think, well, what did she do? Did she insult people? Did she cause a disturbance? Did she steal documents? Nope. None of those things. In fact, she did her job. But listen to what she did that they found so troublesome. She was seeking information about ongoing cases and the department's work, that's the Justice Department, on election fraud. So we just heard the other day from Attorney General William Barr that there is no election fraud, or that if there is, it's just not on the level that rises to anything that will change the election or anything that's important. Well, clearly there must be something, because they have investigations going on. Or they would have said to her, sorry, we don't have any ongoing investigations into election fraud. Instead, they kicked her out of the building. Very strange. What are they trying to hide? A lot, I'm sure. Somebody in the press, if they had any willingness or any desire to actually do any investigative journalism, would do a Freedom of Information Act request to see what's going on there. Open investigations you can't get information about, but once they're closed, you can get information, and they should. All right, now, there is a North Dakota man. He just recently died at the age of 101. Louis Hansen. This guy is incredible. Lived over 100 years and was a member of the 164th Infantry Regiment, serving in World War II. His service lasted for more than 4 years, and in a home video, he described the weapons he once used during World War II to his daughter. We'll try and get that video for you next week. He served in the South Pacific, in the Pacific in Guadalcanal, and it's just amazing because there are so few World War II veterans left alive, and the few that are left are very old, and they're dying out, like he just died, and we have to record their stories, and we have to get those stories out so people will appreciate what it took to protect our freedom. Remember, we didn't want to get into World War II. We were dragged into it, kicking and screaming when they attacked Pearl Harbor, and many Americans lost their lives, whether it was at Omaha Beach or whether it was in the Pacific. And I had many relatives that served during World War II. I had friends whose relatives served during World War II. My great uncle was a one-star general during World War II and the chief medical officer of the South Pacific after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. So I appreciate that. But I think the younger generations just do not appreciate what was given in blood and treasure to preserve our freedom. That's why they're looting on the streets. They don't appreciate what it takes to be free to do those horrible things that they did this summer. All right, now, there is a Powerball ticket that for the last several weeks the state and the local media has been saying is going to expire. A ticket worth $100,000. And guess what? It expired yesterday. Did anybody claim it? We don't know because there's been no media stories about it since. We will try and contact the state lottery director and see what happened. $100,000. Why did they wait so long? You know, you only have 6 months in North Dakota to claim your prize. So claim it quickly and claim it soon. Now, there's been a lot about North Dakota and how we have the highest number of cases per 100,000 per capita of COVID, how we have so many cases, we're not doing our job, people weren't wearing masks, and that's why the governor made everybody do that, all that. Guess what? We're actually not that bad. As I've said on the show many times, we do the most testing per capita, over 350,000 people. That's half the state population almost have been tested. So we're testing more per capita. We also have the most older people per capita. Those are the most vulnerable. So of course we're going to get more. Now I want you to see this graphic. Look at these figures of North Dakota's positivity rate. Look at South Dakota. They have no mask mandate right now. Their restaurants are not at any kind of 50% rules by the governor. Guess what? They have a lower positivity rate. So all this stuff about you have to wear masks, you have to have lockdowns, it doesn't mean anything. And it's not the reason North Dakota has these cases. It has to do with testing, age, and so on. Now, before we leave for the weekend, I told you about this monolith. I told you about this. I told you it was not aliens. I told you don't believe the hype. This was in the desert of Utah. Guess what? It's gone now. 4 men were seen dismantling it, and they took it. And one of them identifies himself as this extreme sports athlete. And then they found a monolith in Romania. This is not aliens. I don't understand why people think it's aliens, or I think people want it to be aliens. They want to believe that there is intelligent life somewhere else that's putting these kinds of neo-modern sculptures in America without us seeing. Somebody played a practical joke, and a lot of people bought in. Listen, it worked. They got all this media attention. Maybe there is intelligent life out there somewhere on some planet, in another galaxy. Maybe there is, but this ain't it. And remember, things are not always as they seem. See you Monday. Have a good weekend.